Hi everybody, this is Shane R. Monroe and welcome back to our new segment called Shane's Shed Mystery Loot Box Edition. In these shows we're going to dive my world famous shed, pull mystery boxes out and talk about what's inside. We're going to dive them and dig them together. These boxes have been sitting around for 5, 10, 15, sometimes even 20 years. You don't know what we're going to pull out. I'm kind of excited because some of this stuff I've even forgotten about. If you've seen a couple of our other loot box diggings, you know we can find some great treasures, maybe a little bit of trash in there too, and with any luck, no big scary spiders. So let's dig in. This one's pretty big. If you've seen our other ones, I don't know if there's quite as much stuff in here, but we're gonna have fun anyway. So I'll just pick off the top and start working my way down. So I am a huge fan of physical media, as you know, and so for a period of time, I started collecting Laserdiscs, and I collected Laserdiscs not because I had a Laserdisc player, but because I really like the Laserdisc artwork. It's the size of a record cover, and it usually has some cool scene from the movie on it, so I have a ton of them outside in my living room and in my back room. So I'm pretty sure that that's what's in here, because I recognize the box. This is from 2016, but there looks to be some other special little goodie in here too. This is a record. Oh my goodness. So this is what they call vinyl. When you hear all these weird 40, 50 something people talking about vinyl, Boff, this is a record. And I'm not going to open it because it's still sealed. We'll talk about albums and records and things like that in another show. But this has got a great story behind it. So if you get a look at this, hang on a second. Hands get so dirty doing this. It's disgusting. This was sent to me by my friend Alex. If you take a look here, this album featured Take the Manilow Challenge. And so this is fantastic. So at the time that this came out, Madonna and Michael Jackson, these guys were running the music scene. Well, Barry Manilow, as you'll know, Barry is a soft pop rock, or basically a soft pop singer. Your grandma probably listens to Barry Manilow, loves Barry Manilow. So Barry decided he was going to try to make a popular music comeback by releasing this. What's it called? Please Don't Be Afraid. What's the name of this album? The name of the album must be underneath here. But anyway, so they decided, I'll read this to you because this is so funny. Take the Manilow Challenge. Play this record alongside any current album by any contemporary pop artist of today and see if, song by song, this doesn't become your favorite album in years. So MTV got a hold of this and they made all of these fake Manilow challenge sessions, and they had people listening to Madonna and Billy Joel or whatever, and then now listen to this. It's fantastic stuff. And it's funny, these are sort of hard to come by because most people have already ripped off the thing, but this Manilow challenge sticker is absolutely fantastic. It's Barry Manilow, but that's not what was really the good part in here. This is the stand on Laserdisc. How great is this? Let's put this over here. So Laserdiscs, for those of you who have no clue what I'm talking about, so right now most people are watching stuff on streaming services. Right? Most people are watching stuff on streaming services. Before then, there was HD DVDs, there were Blu-rays, DVDs, VHS cassette tapes. Laserdiscs fell somewhere in between. And I remember keeping this, first of all, because it's a Laserdisc cover and I love this artwork, but I could have cut this artwork out. I could have cut the artwork out and put it in a frame like the rest of it, but there's so much cool stuff in here, I didn't want to do that. So before we look at the cool stuff that's inside with it, this, my friends, is a Laserdisc. And inside here, there are 3 discs. Because this is a mini-series, and this mini-series ran like 5 hours, I think. So each side could only hold 1 hour of video. This is so hard to get out. Here it is. Looks a lot like a record. This is the precursor to DVDs. And so this is the stand side 1, chapters 1 through 22. So you'd put this disc into your player, and it would play the video, and then if you had an expensive player, it would automatically start playing the backside. If you had a cheap player, you would have to eject it, turn it over, put it in, and continue the movie from there. Pretty cool. It's a neat technology. In fact, there are some movies that are available on Laserdisc, but not on DVD and not on Blu-ray. Song of the South, I think, is one of those banned movies that's available on a Laserdisc, but not on any other medium. But included in here is a nice little chapter list telling you what chapters are on each side of each disc. And here's some really neat stuff. Here's some promotional stuff that was included with it. Here's Stephen King with Rob Lowe. That's cool. These are all behind-the-scenes sort of things. Here's Stephen King with the cast. There's Randall Flagg and Lloyd. Very cool. There's another shot. Stephen King, of course, always has a cameo in each of his adaptations, and so he was like a sentry guard for the camp. Here's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's funny, we just saw Airplane 2 with my son, and he didn't really know who Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was. Well, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, basketball player. He did a little cameo in here. Bring out your dead. Mother Abigail. There's another Stephen King thing. So this is really neat. I mean, this isn't just a movie or just a Laserdisc. It's sort of a nice little collector's piece. That's really neat. Plus, I love the stand. It's being remade, by the way, and I don't know how the remake's going to go, but I really enjoyed the original miniseries, and I've got it on Laserdisc. Sega Genesis Arcade Motion. This has never been opened. I must have got this on a discount somewhere. So if you look at the unit on the back there, they are definitely trying to cash in on the Nintendo Wii scenario, featuring sports games like golf, baseball, bowling, tennis, fishing, boxing, and ping pong. 40 games with 110 different play levels to select. This was their way of doing a cheap motion sensing knockoff. Never opened it. Probably should sometime. That might be fun. See just how bad it really is. Speaking of bad, oh my god. So, you know, it's not just the Chinese that knock off famous video game consoles. They like to do it in Mexico too, apparently. So this is the X Game 360. This is good stuff.
Hope they come out with the X Game 1 soon.
Yeah, so let's see what's in here. Hang on. I don't even know if I've opened this thing. I mean, I've obviously opened it, but here's another little backer for a computer. That's kind of fun. So you put a video or a certain type of card in, and then you put this on the back to cover the hole. And it looks like it has some pre-made slots here. But let's take a look at this. You know this is going to be tough. First of all, look at this. Look at that. It's got a pistola laser. That's good stuff. Okay, let's take a look at this thing. Hey, it actually kind of looks cool. How I play this. Let me see.
I don't know. Those are some tiny controllers.
All right, so let's take a look at this. This is pretty funny. So, 160-in-1 game cartridge. It's actually kind of cool. All right, and then here's our pistola laser. 9-pin. Boy, this is like the cheapest stuff possible. Oops. Oh, there we go. Pulse. Click, 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 click. Made for little tiny fingers. My big finger won't even pull this thing. Basic power adapter. Looks like wired controllers. God, you know what? I should break out my portable TV and we should play with this. Oh, video cable.
That'll be another video.
Oh, look at that. It's like they melted. They melted into the
Well, that's how
plastic.
you know it's cheap.
Wow. So you got like a basic D-pad here. Buttons, start, stop, some sort of weird bubble here that probably serves no purpose as it's not a button.
It probably represents the Xbox button.
I know, that's funny. And then, of course, the console itself. Let's take a look at this. Alright, so looks like there's a battery cover. That's funny. It's an 8-bit video game, so I can't wait to see the quality of this thing. On the front, we have a couple of buttons. Looks like power and reset. A couple standard 9-pin ports. On the back, we have a power in for 9-volt DC, which we got. It's kind of cool, though, if it lets you do a battery power, too. And then video... Oh, it's RF in. I was trying to figure out why that is, because normally it's white and red are the audio, and then yellow is the video. But in this case, this is an RF in, or RF out. That's nutty. And then I'm assuming at the top, sort of the PlayStation 1 design, where you plug in your Mega cartridge. I wouldn't be surprised if there's absolutely nothing in this cartridge and everything is on the game board.
So why would they make a disc-shaped opening for a square-shaped cartridge to plug
You got
in?
me. But how much fun is this? I'm actually dying to plug this in. We're going to have to plug this in later and
Really?
with it. Oh, yeah. I want to see just how bad it is.
How about this controller?
I'm not going to take that
melted?
controller out. They're the same controllers. I don't want to... Dig
That
out
one
another
didn't get melted.
Alright, so Pistola Laser. Oops, I guess you have to take these out in order, huh?
Yep.
Alright, well, we'll mess with this later. Alright, there's room over there for this?
Yes.
Stuff that over there. Alright, just don't drop it. It's very valuable, you know.
X game.
Sure, this was like $5. Some Russian, or not Russian, but Mexican flea market. Well, this is cool. So here's a, this is a cover. This was a big thing in the Commodore. Those of you who are Commodore aficionados, you know all about these. These are covers that you would put over your computer stuff when you weren't using them. And these came in a multitude. So the most popular, most desirable one was these little brown covers to cover over your Commodore 64. They made them for the 128. This one is a little on the more rare side because this fits a 1526 printer. So Commodore made their own brand of printers, and you would put this over it to keep dust from getting in. This is actually really cool. I don't remember ever picking that up. That's neat. Dust covers. What's this? Mario Kart 8. So swag. So this is more swag, or it's from McDonald's, or it's from McDonald's.
Yeah.
So this is a Mario Visor. It doesn't fit
Very
anybody.
cheaply made.
I mean, look how small this is. I mean, this doesn't even fit my hand.
Even if you stretch it out, it's still too small.
Yeah. So a neat little piece of trashy Happy Meal swag. What else is in here? Nintendo GameCube Game Boy Advance cable. So that was kind of cool. It was a little experiment that the Nintendo GameCube would allow you to plug in your Game Boy Advance, and you could play multiplayer games like it was a Pac-Man. I can't remember what the name of it was. There was a Pac-Man game that used it. Interesting. It's still sealed. I think I have a few of those kicking around. Pill container. Back when I was fat and I had a lot of medical type issues surrounding that, I had to take pills every day. This is a blast from the past I no longer have to do. It's kind of a piece of history. What's this? Metroid Other M Art Folio. So this is another piece of swag for, I'm assuming, a Metroid Other. What game system was that for? GameCube?
So is it an artwork?
So
booklet?
This is an art folio, and it hasn't been opened. I wonder if we should open it.
I don't know. I think it would be safer to keep it closed.
Dolby Pro Logic. I don't know. I'm almost kind of curious to open it.
I mean, you could if you want.
Yeah, why not, right? I mean, I'm sure this thing isn't worth a ton. All right. Let's put my mouth on this dirty, filthy cardboard. It's probably worth a fortune, and I just lost $200 by opening it. But
yeah, well, should have probably checked the price on eBay or something.
yeah, well, I'll do that when I actually produce the video. So this is, what is this? Oh, okay, here we go.
Careful with the art.
Hey, this is actually kind of neat, and I'm assuming, does this, I don't want to actually can I slide this off? Okay. Hang on, I'm trying not to ruin it completely. Is this got of course this has a logo and stuff on it too, so I really don't want to.
I say just keep it like that.
Okay, maybe I can pull a couple of these pieces out from the middle, just to see what we're talking about here. Okay, so they're like little art cards.
Yeah.
This is kind of cool.
What Metroid game, though?
I think Other M. I don't remember what system this came out for, because I'm not a huge Metroid head, but
Either.
this is pretty cool looking, though. I mean, these are neat. It's actually really neat. I'm definitely going to check out eBay and see if these are actually worth anything. Not that I would probably sell them, but still, a rather neat little collectible. And I don't remember where this came from, if it was part of some sort of a pre-order promotion or where I picked it up from, but
Metroid.
it's Metroid. I don't know why this is not going back in. There we go. Maybe we'll put that when I pack everything back up. We'll put it in a Ziploc or something to help protect this. This looks like a cloth map for some video game. Let's see.
Oh.
So this is
It says right there, the Eye of Judgment.
Oh, you know what this is?
Huh.
Holy crap, I know exactly what this is. So, check this out. This was an augmented reality video game for the PlayStation. So using the PlayStation camera, because you can see a little picture of the camera, you would actually use this as a game board, and it would superimpose the computer graphics over this game board, like a real video of the game board. Yeah, I totally remember this thing. I don't remember actually ever playing it, though, but it's cool. I still have the cloth map, and I assume that the I assume that the AR recognized the symbols or something of the squares. I don't remember how all of it worked, but wow, what a neat that's a neat little treasure. Probably not worth anything, but you know, it's worth from a historical point of view or something. What do you got here? So this is some sort of a basic slip cover. This would probably fit. I don't know what that fits. It's kind of squarish. Floppy disk. It says boot on it. How useful. And I think we covered floppy disks in another episode, but we'll be talking more about floppies in some other edition where I talk about storage medium. But this is probably a boot disk for either a PC or maybe an Amiga. It's two double-sided high density, so probably not an Amiga disk. Got here, Consumer Guide Strategies for Nintendo Games. This is kind of fun. So according to the back, Strategies for Nintendo Games powers up all your favorite Nintendo games. Large full-color photographs of action-packed game screens show you the top secret strategies for games such as Bases Loaded, Bubble Bobble, Bump and Jump, Contra, Gunsmoke, Life Force, Mega Man, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, 1943, Q*bert, and so many more. So let's take a look at this. This is really cool. So this is a lost art, my friends. I'd like to point this out because this is kind of important. This is spiral bound. Spiral bound books cost a lot more money to make, but you know why they're so great? If they're bound like a book, you can't open it. You can't hold them open. I don't know if I have any more books in here, but you can't just open them up. You have to like hold them or break the spines. But with these books like this, with the spiral bound, you can open it and lay them flat if it wasn't bent. So look at this. This is actually fairly cool. So Legend of Zelda, it gives you sort of looks like a little synopsis about the game. Tells you playing strategies, advanced strategies, special strategies. It's got full color pictures. This is, how old is it? What's the date on this thing? This is kind of cool. I'm curious how old this is. 1989. 1989. This is a nice little piece of history from the editors of Consumer Guide, which I think is a division of Consumer Reports. But this is great. Look at this. Double Dragon, Mega Man. This is kind of neat. $12.95 back in the day. That was a lot of money. Very cool. Insider tips. That's neat. What a fun little goodie. This is. Ha! Here is another piece of computer history. This is a VIC-20 modem. You probably have a cable modem, right, for your internet. Back in the day, we had to plug this little guy in, plug it into our telephone. We'd have to take the phone off the hook and dial the number we wanted to call, and then it would connect. This is a huge piece of history. Oh, look. Oh, my goodness. Look at what's in this box. All right. Inside the box, we have a cassette. Okay, so this violates the memory neurons in every possible way. So number one, this is a cassette tape. Half the people watching this show won't even know what this is. This is a spool of magnetic media. You can see the magnetic media, and this was typically used for recording music. Well, computers could store their programs with tones, which were actually sounds that could be recorded on this. And it's so funny. You would put this thing into your music player, your audio player. Something would engage here and turn these little wheels that would drag this tape across these little read heads, and the read heads would read the audio or write the audio to it. In this case, this is software that you need to run this modem, but it's only on a cassette, which is crazy. Here's the actual device itself and some user manuals. Commodore Business Machine's warranty card. But look at this thing. This is a real piece of history. So we actually had to use a phone line to call other computers, and this is the tool that you use. So you had to plug your telephone into this. You actually had to say whether you were going to be making the call, originating the call, or answering a call. So if somebody was calling you, you had to flip this switch versus if you were calling them. And then this thing plugged into the back of the computer port. So an interesting little piece of historical data here. I had one of these when I was a kid. I was probably 12, maybe 13 years old, somewhere around my son's age. And these things ran like $300 for this guy. And it was very slow. It was almost useless in today's day and age. But I remember wanting this so bad, and I went to every source of cash that I could come up with, which when you're a kid is grandma. So I went to my grandma and I said, I really, really want one of these modems for my computer. And of course, because it was a computer and my parents and grandparents thought it was educational, and it was. I played a lot of video games too, but she agreed to fund me for one of these modems. And so I found one used in the newspaper. This is back when, you couldn't go on, Facebook what do they call it? Facebook neighborhoods or whatever, or Craigslist, right? You had to go to your local paper and look in the for sale section, and somebody was selling a VIC modem for $75, which that sounds like a lot of money. And even in 19 whatever that year was, that was a lot of bank. Even $75 was a lot of money. And I can't believe my grandmother went for it. But she bought me my very first modem, and it wasn't this one, because I bought this later to rebuild my childhood, because that's what Gen Xers do, is we have money now, so we spend it all trying to rebuy our childhood. But I remember my grandmother financing this for me, and this was a big deal. This wasn't getting a slightly upgraded phone after you had one from last year. This changed the world, really. I mean, not this particular modem, but modems and communication. Without this, there would be no internet. So these are stepgaps to what we now enjoy for internet. And so this is a really neat piece of history. I'm glad I have one. And of course the cassette. Awesome. Not too many cables. This is weird. This is like a super video cable. So this is actually kind of cool. I'm going to open this because it doesn't really matter if it stays sealed or not. In the grand scheme of video, everything's HDMI now, right? You plug in your Xbox, it's HDMI, or DisplayPort for your computer. But there was a period of time between that crappy coaxial cable I showed you guys once and what we're using now, and that was called Super Video. And essentially, this was a slightly better than normal, but not as great as higher end stuff. And you'd plug this in, and it would split. It would split out into the old style, which would be RCA plugs, which would be video and 2 audios. But this was, low voltage computer cable. Very cool. Another little piece of interesting history. This, for some reason, is a dead earphone piece. And I don't even know why it's here. It's going to go in Mr. Trash. Here we have what looks like a bootleg of Star Trek Hidden Evil. So this is a PC game, it looks like. Oh, hey, look at this. This is a surprise. Okay, so this was a pirated game, right? Star Trek Hidden Evil on a CD recordable. So yeah, you couldn't afford games, you pirated them, I suppose. But now this is a neat little piece of history right here. So this Forbidden Forest is a very popular Commodore 64 game. They kind of ruined it and they made a PC version of it. And this is the PC version of Forbidden Forest. Nothing worth writing home about, but it's really neat that I have the disc. It's really funny that it's actually stuck in with a pirated Star Trek game disc. What's this? Nice! Advanced Dungeons & Dragons Eye of the Beholder 3. Now, this is from SSI. This is a company that produced amazing role-playing type games. Unfortunately, this is for the IBM compatible, which I never would have had a machine to play this. But these sort of boxes typically had tons and tons of swag in them, like these cloth maps and special things. And because it comes in this big, thick box, I'm tempted to open it up and look at it. This doesn't hold any particular sentimental value to me, other than the fact that it's SSI and it was sealed, and there's probably good stuff in there. Let's see. Well, let's find out. So here's the back, so you guys can see what cutting-edge video gaming was like back then. This is copyright 1993. I think we should open it. You know why? Because I want it. So I'm going to use this big, scary knife.
It's not that scary.
Open this thing up. We'll put this in a plastic baggie, too. Okay, so what do we got in the box? So a lot of floppy disks. So this was back in the day before CDs, so it came on multiple floppy disks. Now these were probably all available to install on your hard drive. Join the RPGA network. Your wait is over. 900 number. Yeah, this is fun. This is fun. So before the internet, before you could go to some website and click on support and get help, you would have to call the company for help. And instead of actually staffing them for free, they would use 900 numbers. 900 numbers were toll calls. So, like, again, this is sort of weird because people don't even know about paying for long distance anymore, but you'd pick up your phone and call anybody in your town for free. If you wanted to call somebody in the next town or the next state or across the country, there would be a toll charge called long distance charges. And those could rack up 10 cents a minute during the cheap hours or whatever. And so 900 numbers were a way to monetize support calls. So if you were to call here to get a hint, you dial this 900 number. And according to this, let's see. So the benefits of the 900 number service is receive immediate help when you're stumped and need hints fast. Easy touch-tone phone, transfer you directly to the hints you need. No more waiting for an open line, no more frustrations. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, the real secret is, what did it cost? What is and this is all in the back, by the way. What is the cost per call? 95 cents for the first minute. Your first minute was $1. Every additional minute after that was 75 cents. And you got to figure, you're going to get on the call and they're going to transfer you around to a bunch of menus and all this other stuff. You'd end up paying $5, $6, $7 a call for help. That's before the internet. Be lucky you have internet, folks. And then we have, looks like a product catalog or an advanced thing for Neverwinter Nights. Oddly enough, this looks strangely like Dragonlance, does it not? That looks like Raceland Magier. This looks like Tannis. And guess what? This series looks like it has nothing at all to do with Dragonlance. How funny. Let's look inside this thing. Is there any other cool pictures in here? They did that a lot. They shared artwork. Nah, just a bunch of text. The rule book. This is how complicated this game was. You had to have a book to play it. You needed a rule book. This was before on-screen help, of course. And then looks like more SSI stuff, a catalog showing all the different games that they produced. All right. And what's this? Take the chill off. I don't know what this is. Take the Manilow challenge. We dare you to play this game next to your favorite game. Oh, this is one of those fold-out things. Nothing exciting there. And specific hardware requirements. So just for fun, the minimum requirements for this game are 640K of RAM, DOS 3.3, 4.01, 50, or 60, a Microsoft mouse, or 100% compatible. That's important. 2 megs. 1 meg of free EMS for disk cache or sound effects, or 4 megs. 2 megs free for EMS, sound effects, and disk cache. A 386 processor. Ooh. A hard drive and a VGA graphics and color monitor. God, I'm so glad I was never a gamer on the PC in the early days. And of course the standard warranty card. So nothing fun in here, no maps, no special swag. I was kind of hoping for more. But we got some interesting stories out of that box anyway, so that's fun. 3D graphic series. All right, so what's next in the box? Speaking of cassette players, so my friends, this is your standard portable. I love that, it's portable. This thing's huge, but it does have a handle on it. That's how you know it's portable. This thing could weigh 900 pounds, and it almost does, but that makes it portable. So this is your standard cassette player and recorder. Remember we were talking about cassettes earlier? This is an audio cassette used to record audio. So again, it's the same principle here. It's filled with little magnetic strips, and the magnetic strips transfer audio back and forth. We'll talk more about the cassette tape in my my physical media video. But essentially, you stuck it in here, and this was battery powered usually, of which there are, oh look at this, 4 C batteries. I couldn't even put batteries in here if I wanted to. I don't have batteries of that size anymore. I mean, I could probably get some, but essentially, you know, you had a power in, you had a volume rocker, press play, and it would play. These little wheels would spin and audio would come out this crappy little speaker. You could hit stop, rewind, stop, fast forward. These were all linear. So if you wanted to go to a particular song, you didn't hit skip. This isn't Spotify. You'd have to rewind it, rewind the tape, and then hope you got to the right spot, hit play. Nope, wrong song. Rewind, stop, play. Oh, there we go, I got the right song. And if you wanted to record, it was the same idea, except for you'd push both these buttons down at the same time, and it would start recording over from wherever you chose. Not very efficient, but a whole generation of kids were raised on these, and some of you are those kids. Oddly enough, just as a side note, this particular recorder was probably chosen because it has specific audio and ear in and out cables. This was typically used for computers that didn't have a disk drive. You would get a little set of cables that would plug into this thing, that would plug into your computer, and you could load and save programs on any cassette player. A lot of people had these laying around the house. They buy a new computer, they had no way to store anything, so they used a cassette player. That's probably where that came from. Oh, well, here's an actual computer cassette player. This is the Venerable Data Set. This is what you used if you had a Commodore computer to load and store games. $70, $64.97 was what this retailed at Kmart. Two things that nobody's heard of anymore, Data Sets and Kmart. But this was the ipso de facto. If you had a Commodore computer, you probably had one of these. And it's kind of interesting that these are both in the same box. It's kind of fun because you can sort of compare and contrast here. Very similar in operation here. This really is just a cassette player. We'll move this to the side. So the same idea, you would eject. Remember that the modem I had in here? That's where you'd put the software, you'd close it, rewind the tape, and then you'd type something on the computer, you hit play, and it would load the computer software into memory, and then you'd stop it. There's a little counter. This is actually kind of cool. This has no counter, right? This does, and it kind of makes sense, right? Because if you had a tape with a whole bunch of different programs on it, you might want to know where program 2, 3, 4, and 5 are. So by using this little counter, you could record your software on here and then make note of where the counter was, and that's where you'd be starting the next software. So you could use fast forward and rewind with this counter to help you find where on the tape your software was. But this uses a very, very proprietary plug, and this is a ground cable, which, by the way, the first thing that people would do when they get one of these things is cut this off. Because you're supposed to ground it. You're supposed to ground it. You need ground. Remember we talked about this in another video? You need a ground cable. This is a ground cable. But guess what? It is only for in the USA, so this is great. So there's a little tag on here. I'm glad I kept this. This ground cable, let's see, is it? Yeah, same thing on the other side. This ground cable is for use in the USA only, because we're the only ones that care about grounding stuff, to comply with FCC regulations. Again, the first thing people did was cut this off. Nobody that I know of, nobody ever hooked this to ground. But anyway, so that's really neat. It's in great shape, too. Made in Taiwan, Republic of China. So anyway, that's kind of cool. There's no documentation or anything in here, but it's in a great shape, and I bet it works very, very well. So that's kind of neat. A computer cassette player and an actual audio cassette player. 2 jewels in one box. Jewels of the Nile. Odie. I had, along with most of my kids, we had a personal affection for Odie and Garfield in general. And this is from the Garfield cartoon. And it says Love Struck on the side. So this must have been a gift from a girlfriend. I'm hoping it's your mother. Not your mother, his mother. So anyway, Odie.
The cameraman's mother.
Cameraman's mother. Oh, there's Pookie. So Pookie is Garfield's favorite teddy bear. My son is begging for... you gotta be careful. Pookie's nose is coming out. What else we got? What's this? Oh, swag! Big time find. Excellent. All right, so first off, this bag itself is a Pikmin bag. So this is part of the Nintendo Club goodies. Back when Nintendo Club actually gave you stuff, and not stupid stuff like digital downloads. Nintendo Club, this is a Pikmin Canvas Bag. It has little Pikmin characters on it from the video game. And inside, I see a plethora of collectibles, other swag, other stuff from Club Nintendo. Look at this. This is the Club Nintendo original calendar from 2014, still sealed. So I'm not going to open this. This has a bunch of little cards in it. Has a little tiny directory for the year, and this is really cool. I'm all excited. I'm all a Twitter here. Remember I told you about Green Man and Android was a big thing? I told you I had lots of little Android collectibles. This is a little plushie of the green robot from Android. Love this stuff. Love that stuff. And here are more video game stuff from, this is also from Mario Kart 8 from McDonald's. So this is a little tiny Toad car. I'm not going to open it. This stuff's going to go right back in here. This is cool. This is a little Asteroid Spin from Atari. I don't remember the origins of this guy, but a little pin that says Asteroids on it. It's got a little pin clip on the back. What's this? Oh, it's broken. No, is the piece in here? That's what I get for putting stuff in the shed. So this is a little tiny Keychain baby Nintendo DS. Unfortunately, the cover has broken off with the little clamshell that closes it. But I think I got this from when I bought my Nintendo DS Lite. I think this came with my DS Lite when I imported it from Japan. It's very cool. It's too bad it's broken. But again, it's what I get for, what's this? It's a watch. Anything special about this?
What is the hands and stuff? Maybe it's the design on the clock itself.
I don't know. I think, I believe, I love my mother so very much. But every now and then she buys gifts that I'm not sure what she was thinking. I think this was a gift from my mother. And I don't typically wear watches. I don't even have a watch on right now. If I do, it's usually for fitness or exercise. So I don't usually wear watches. But somehow she thought she'd get me a watch. And I'm not sure if this does anything special or in particular, but it was a gift from my mother. And I'm sorry I never actually wore it. This is great. There's an actual McDonald's bag. Is there anything on said bag, or did I just use it to collect? No. So there was a period of time when these little collectibles were really highly sought after. But they did the same thing as they do sort of with TV shows, right? So they will they'll release a certain character for a week at a time, and then after that week you can't get it anymore. So people ran down to McDonald's, and they did this exactly for this reason. People would run down to McDonald's and buy these toys. Sometimes they wouldn't let you buy more than one. Sometimes they let you buy a ton of them, and then the next guy that would come along wouldn't get any. But these are all, I don't know how many of them there are in here. But these are all Mario Kart 8 collectibles. Here's the Mario one. Here's Donkey Kong. Luigi. And Yoshi. And his little bike. So these were, some of these were really hard to get a hold of. And it's kind of nice that I still have them in a bag and they're all still sealed. They come with little stickers for you to decorate the cars with or to use for whatever purpose you wanted. That's kind of fun. And these, according to the receipt, this was, is there a date on here?
Probably 2017, 16 or 17.
Probably. It doesn't say, though. Interesting. Normally it would have the date on. Oh, there it is. 14. Oh. July 5th, 2014. No. And 4 Mario Karts. I got them for free somehow. How did that happen?
Probably just went up and asked for them, and they just gave them to you.
So that's way cool. So that's neat. That's a nice little collector's bag here. This is fun. I got Pikmin. I got some swag. My mother's watch that I never wore. I feel like such a bad son in my Android. How fun. That's a neat bag. This has been a good box. Good box. I'm going to still a whole bunch of crap in this. Angry Birds. So most people know I'm not a huge Angry Birds fan. I don't know why I ended up getting this. For you, Brian liked Angry Birds, so that must have been what it was. But anyway, it's a plushie, and it says "Squeeze Me."
Probably makes this weak sound.
I don't know.
Launch the pigs at the birds.
What's this? Retro Gamer. Okay, so Retro Gamer magazine is a UK publication that focuses on classic and retro gaming. And occasionally they would have sort of a cover disc or a pack-in disc that would come with it. And so you can see here, this is a CD that's loaded with probably some special features. It says it includes some games like Warblade, Jet Set Willy PC, Battle Cubert, that can be fun, Monty on the Run, 50 PC retro games, 20 of the latest PC emulators, 18 Commodore 64 games and demos, 4 stunning C64 music videos, plus loads more quality retro content. I might dig this out and play with that. That's pretty cool. More swag from Super Scribblenauts. You saw in another video, or is it this video?
No,
they all run together. I had a little hat for Scribblenauts, and now I've got a pair of earmuffs for Scribblenauts. This is more swag that came with, I think, a pre-order of the game. Not worth much, but it's got sentimental value. Wii Fitness for Dummies. So this is made by a couple of people that I know, Bill Laguidis and his wife, Christina. This is just a period piece, you know. So this is the very popular Dummies Guide, and are these even a thing anymore? I don't know. There was this whole yellow and black schema. These dummy series were designed for people who are not technically or computer savvy to get super easy reference material on how to do stuff. So if you open this, there's probably many pictures. They're telling you how to use your Wii Fitness balance board, all that sort of thing. So these books were for people who, this is the Wii balance board, by the way, for those of you who didn't ever see it. So this was, I bet that's his wife's painted toenail there too. Anyway, so this is kind of interesting. It's a period piece, and I know the people who wrote it. And again, with the whole, I wonder if, whose pictures are in here. He's got pictures. That's him. There's old Bill Laguitas. I always thought he kind of looked like the terrorist from Executive Decision. Where is the passenger manifest? Go look that up. He'll tell you that guy looks just like him, right? Go look at him. Go look it up. I can't remember the actor's name that plays that guy, but looks like he's in here. And I wonder if he's got pictures of his wife in here. His wife is pretty, as I recall. No pictures of his wife. Smart. Don't ever put pictures of your wife where other guys can ogle it. What's this? Hot Wheels Missile Command. So, boy, I'll tell you what, Atari will do anything they possibly can to milk their properties into stuff that you'll never want or need. So, for those of you who remember the game Missile Command, of which this is a very generous rendition of, there's no cars in there. But somehow, they thought, let's take the name Missile Command and shove it onto a truck. And they did this with a whole bunch of other stuff, too. Those are the other Hot Wheels Atari editions.
It's pretty cool.
I mean, they're kind of cool, but it's like Centipede has nothing to do with the truck. Very strange. What's this? Nice! Epic Software made some of the best Commodore 64 software around, and G.I. Joe was an absolutely fantastic game on the Commodore 64, which is obviously why I have this manual. I'm sure I've got the original disc, too. I've collected them over the years. But this was sort of a training debriefing manual. Commodore 64 G.I. Joe. Fantastic stuff. That's an awesome little find. What a treasure. What's this? The Conscious Parent. This is a guide to better parenting.
Transforming ourselves, empowering our children.
Conscious Parent is a wonderful contribution to a deeper inquiry on what it means to parent well. Bringing body, mind, and spirit, sounds a little hippie, all together in new parental paradigm is essential. The Conscious Parent will help us get there.
Maybe a gift from Grandma.
This is probably a gift from my mother. Notice how the spine is not broken at all.
It's probably because you didn't read it.
There are no pictures. That's probably why I probably didn't read it. Anyway, was it an inscription or anything? No. It was probably sent to me by my mother. Too funny. All right, what else do we got? Damn, there's a lot of stuff in here. This is a good box. Drink markers. Space Invaders drink markers. Keep your drink safe from alien invaders with this set of silicone drink markers. Simply apply to your favorite beverage and your drink will be safe all night. Oh, I know what these are. So this is when you like go to a party and everybody has the same cup, right? You get red cups, you write your name on it with a Sharpie or something. Instead of doing that, put these little stickers on it, and I will be the red alien for the rest of the night, so don't use my cup. I'm assuming that's what that's for. Markers, drink markers. Cool. Somehow I got 2 of these.
Christmas gifts.
Maybe. Mario teaches typing. This is one of those weird times when Mario makes a special guest appearance on software, in software that does not run on a Nintendo machine. So this is a PC game from Interplay that features Mario teaching you how to type. This might actually be worth something. Have to look it up. 1992. It's always rare when Mario appears on a non-Nintendo piece of hardware because they're very, very strict about their IPs. The Philips CDI got a couple of Mario licenses too. This could be interesting to take a look at. I'll have to look it up. And here's what's this? So this is another Retro Games magazine cover. This is Amiga Forever with the only legal Amiga emulator. This comes with Amiga Forever version 6, includes games, demos, and ROM files. So this is actually kind of cool. This would cost you $20 if you were to purchase it directly. Amiga Forever, by the way, is a fantastic. It's from Cloanto. AmigaForever.com, as I recall. The Amiga Forever is a turnkey emulation package for Amiga. For those of you who ever tried to set up your own emulators for Amiga, it's a pain. But this tool and Amiga Forever, which is normally a commercial product, was given away for free for Retro Gamer. That's really cool. So there has to be cables, at least some in this box. This is a cool cable. We'll talk about this one because there's actually something cool about that. This is a Nintendo. This looks like a DS power supply, maybe? I don't remember the plug.
No.
It's got a dual screen, so it's a Nintendo DS. Nintendo DS dual screen. So that's kind of cool. It's an actual licensed first-party cable. In one of my other episodes, I talked about a cigarette lighter for your car. And so you would buy these little adapters that would plug into your cigarette lighter, and then you have a plug on it for powering your phone or whatever. So if you had one of those, but you didn't want to use it in the car, you could use this to plug into your house outlet and then plug the cigarette thing into this. So weird, a very strange adapter. There's another plug. Horror Movie Freak. What the hell? This looks awesome. This is another one of those things I think ended up just landing in a box somewhere and I never looked at it. There's a note in here though. Is there anything signed in here? Sorry, you guys can't see it when I'm holding it down like that. There's nothing signed in here, but that's very stiff. There must be a disc or something in here. So this is cool. Look at this. It's got horror movie icons in here, movie posters. Mostly older stuff. It looks like there's a note in here. I'm going to pull that out in a minute. See if there's anything in here I recognize. There was Dog Soldiers, The Hitcher, Seven. Oh, this is cool.
The Shining.
The Shining. Blair Witch Project, Near Dark. This is really cool. Children of the Corn. And then there is a disc in here. 1968 version of John Romero's Night of the Living Dead on a disc for free inside the box. Excellent guide for horror freaks. Contains bonus of Night of the Living Dead. You'll scream with delight while reading this fun and engaging book that discusses fright flicks all horror fans need to see to ascend the level of true horror freak, including classics and new modern movies as well, blah, blah, blah. Very cool. So I imagine whoever, this note in here is probably who it's from. I got sent a lot of cool things from friends. Who What? Horror book. Mum Puppets, Brian's Superheroes. May 6, 2013. Well, this is for Brian. This is Brian's. What's that? Beeping. Brian, I am still looking for a poetry... This is from Chrysania, I think. I'm still looking for a poetry book to give you. A lot of them are a little hard to read until you get older. Until then, I got you superheroes. Oh, okay. I got it now. So this is from my daughter. She packed all the stuff together into a single box for Christmas or something. For Dad, you get the horror book. Mom gets Muppets, and Brian gets the superheroes book of some sort. So this is from... do you remember this now?
I got that comic book still.
Mom, just couldn't help but think of you when I saw this. Thought it would make a good addition to your mandatory reading at work.
You probably just used it as a bookmark.
Dad, I got this in Seattle when I went to a horror exhibit. Very nice. Thank you for saying it. This is neat. I wish I had spent more time looking at it now. That's what you do when you get older. You regret things you didn't do when you were younger. Another retro gamer disc. This one has 50 classic games across 6 retro platforms. Play them on your PC. Looks like a bunch of Amiga stuff on there. Uridium 2, Paradroid. Hey, what's this doing in here? Sewer Shark for the Sega CD. This is too bad that this case got all busted up. So, Sewer Shark, Sega CD was famous for one thing, and that was making full-motion video games. These were games that were mostly a movie that you kind of had some play, sort of like Dragon's Lair. Sewer Shark was actually kind of a fun little game, and it's a big piece of my history. You can see on the back, you can see some of the screens from there. So, like I said, a lot of video without a lot of actual playing being done. But the CD format really supported that. This is sort of weird. Usually they came in a special Sega CD case. So this one being in a box like this seems sort of out of character. Maybe there's something cool in here. Let's see what's in here. So you got a Sewer Shark manual. You can see this format, this sort of tall and thin. This would go into a case. I don't see any Sega CD cases. We'll look at that in another time. But this is a weird release. See, here's the disc. And usually this disc came in part of the case. You can see, if I open this up, the CD and case are the same width. So the case and the CD could fit in the same case, this thin sort of special storage case. Why is it in a box? I am very curious to look this up as to why this is. This is not the sort of container that Sewer Shark should be in. Well, I actually have Sewer Shark in the real container.
It looks like you got it for $2, so maybe
it was $6 at Bookman's.
So yeah, maybe someone put it in.
This seems really out of line. It could be because this came out before they established the disc format, the case format. Hard to tell, but I'm going to look that up later. Here's a great blast from the past, my friends. Look at this controller. This, my friends, is for the Colecovision, a very classic retro gaming console. This is what's known as the Super Action Controller. First of all, I just got to show you a few things on here. First of all, if you remember, some of you probably will never remember, but the Colecovision had a number pad that you could do all sorts of sort of advanced things with it, right? Because the game itself had really one fire button and a joystick. And it also had this number pad that you could put these little overlays onto that would say, this is to fire torpedoes, this is to call up an airstrike or whatever. So you'd have these buttons that could be kind of remapped to do other things. There's also a spinner. This is to like run. Like this was intended for playing sports games like football or boxing. And so this would be like a run. So instead of holding the joystick in one direction, they made you kind of work at it to run. There's a nice joystick, which, by the way, the ColecoVision joystick completely sucks, so this is very, very helpful. And then as a bonus, there are 4 colored buttons that you grip. How can I do this? That you can actually pull these triggers as like trigger buttons. This was actually a really decent controller. It feels good. It's comfortable. Unfortunately, very few games use it on the ColecoVision. I'm wondering if you can, because it uses a standard 9-pin DIN that most computers and video games ran at the time. I bet this could be reallocated and used on a PC or something. That's really neat. Hey! Speaking of ColecoVision, here's the actual original controller. As you can see, here's the number pad I was telling you about. You slid these little overlay plastics, which maybe there's some in here somewhere. I'll see. 2 buttons and this terrible, horrible controller. So you would hold the controller like this, and then you would try to move like this. Worst control outside of the Intellivision, maybe the worst controller ever, and I've got one. Oh, there's a full ColecoVision here. No, what's this? Here is a Nintendo Wii U charging dock.
Oh,
so this is, you put your big Wii U controller / screen on here, and it would charge.
I got rid of the Wii U, so
no, we still got a Wii U somewhere, I think.
I got rid of it.
Here is another Happy Meal toy. This is Princess Peach, so that should probably go in this bag with the rest of the stuff. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff in here, so what's this? Ah, look at this. So this is stationery from Digital Leisure. They're the ones that release Dragon's Lair 1, 2, and Space Ace as many times as they can for whatever platform they can. They were nice enough to send me some stationery to write nothing on. That's why it's in here. Nobody writes letters anymore. Digital email. Well, I got a ton of cards in here we'll look at. Put those to the side for now. Here's another retro collection. This is mixed media compact disc, 65 minutes of Commodore 64 music plus 25 retro games for your PC, including Scramble, Chronos X, and Nomad. These are cool. I'm glad I kept these. There's some good stuff on this stuff.
Good stuff on this stuff? Good
stuff on this stuff. Here's another one. Llama Rama, the Llamasoft collection. So these are 65 classic games, including all of the Jeff Minter classics like Grid Runner, Hover Bubber, Attack of the Mutant Camels, and all those other kind of games. Oh, cool. Very cool. I'm glad I kept these. What's this? Joystick Mobile. Oh, man. This is another ThinkGeek product. So, as video gaming started moving to mobile devices, it's really hard to do any sort of actual video gaming on a device. It's a touch screen because you need a joystick to do a lot of stuff, or at least a D-pad, right? So this little product's designed. I'm gonna open it because I don't think it's worth anything. Oh, there we go. This little product was designed to suction cup to your mobile phone, and it's got little capacitive touch areas. So as you put it on your phone, you could use this as a joystick, usually with your thumb. You would use it as a joystick, and you could go up, down, left, and right, as long as you could position the controls on the phone to match up with this little ring. Really neat idea. They were thinking outside the box, these Think Geeks. Unfortunately, it didn't take off, and most games you couldn't actually program to use it properly, but still, neat little piece of history when we were trying to actually make mobile phones not suck for video gaming, at least classic video gaming. The world wouldn't be complete without a pair of fuzzy dice that hangs from your rear view mirror in your car. This is Pac-Man. Now we hang Corona masks from our trash. That's a Colecovision controller, because obviously one is never enough. Hey, this is cool. I remember these. I was trying to gather up a whole bunch of these. These are part electronic, part physical, sort of click together sort of things. This was supposed to be sort of like a little computer people, or a, what do they call it now? Sims type of a game, where you would see their pass-through plugs. So there's a plug over here and there's a plug here. You could get multiple different ones of these, different configurations, and click them together. And click them together and click them together and make a whole town. And you were supposed to be able to feed, put your little guy to bed, perform different actions, and you could see it on a little screen back there. Of course, the batteries are probably wiped in there, but this is like a Tamagotchi, right? This is like a little tiny virtual pet, but you could click more of these together and they would all talk to each other, and you could have multiple people supposedly in this thing. It's very, very cool. I don't think I've ever actually got them working, though. I should probably...
Can you unfold it?
No, it's just, it looks like you can unfold it, but you can't. This is really cool. I started collecting a bunch of these. I wonder if there's any more in here. No, but I've got other ones of these. You'll probably see them when we dive other boxes. That's really neat. Now this is without a doubt Psygnosis. This is the famous owl from Psygnosis. And if you look at the back, you can see the color version of said owl. This was some sort of a Kickstarter, I think, of some sort. Strix Memoria. Let's see what was actually in here. Oh, look at this. These are some developers. Hang on a second. Let's see. This is really neat. All the best. Let's see. Hexadecimal on Atari computer. This would perform a top or no op. This is cool. Look at this. This is pretty cool. This is a collectible sort of thing. And here we go. Look at this. This is really neat. So this is another flash drive, but it's in the shape of the Psygnosis owl. Anybody, if Psygnosis doesn't work for you, this is really neat collectible thing. This is a very cool thing. This is number 124. Staff of Psygnosis and Sony Computer Entertainment Europe. So this is actually the staff from Psygnosis. That's a neat collectible. The VG Pocket. This is your standard attempt to capitalize on really crappy little portable game units. I bet this doesn't turn on. Anyway, so these were available at Target, Walmart. These were literally like the cheapest little 8-bit games you could possibly put on here. Nothing licensed. It was always some turnkey shoddy game. This feels like it's Boeing too. I bet the batteries are like exploding in there. We'll have to open that up and take a look at it. What's this? This looks like the foot to something.
Probably an AT-AT walker.
It kind of looks like one. I don't know if I've ever had one of those though. Some more cables. Oh, I promised to look at this other cable while I was down here. I don't know where it went. I guess we'll probably see another one of those cables. It's a Commodore 64 thing.
Oh, this is for the Wii.
Is it? Oh yeah, it's for the balance board. I guess I could have looked
balance
closer.
Board.
It's a balance board foot. How'd you see that it was for the Wii?
There's a little Wii
symbol.
symbol
On there. Cool. This is a very unique cable. I'm glad I still have one of these. This is a Chroma Luma cable for a Commodore 64. So the Commodore 64 had a round plug in the back, and You could plug it into a TV, but it kind of looked a little shoddy. If you had this very special esoteric cable, now anyway, you could actually plug this into the back of a 1702 monitor and would give you a much better picture, much more vibrant color. That's a nice, starting to get weighed down with crap in here. I got a whole bunch of little card stuff to look at. I'm going to save all that till last. What's this?
Plug.
Cable.
Cable.
What's this? Oh, here's
Bowser.
Bowser for the. We'll put that back in the Pikmin bag then. Oh, what's this? This is a game case, maybe? Hey! Oh, look at that! There's GBA games in here. This is Ultimate Card Games. Fantastic cartridge for GBA. And, of course, the infamous Nintendo. This is a GBA game. This is the Rumble Pack that goes into the GBA slot of a Nintendo DS. And this provides a rumble feature. There's a little freaking buzzing thing in here. It didn't really feel much like rumble, but if you plug this in with a compatible Nintendo DS game, it would kind of vibrate in your hand like when you're playing pinball or something.
Oh, and those are 3DS?
And these look like 3DS spots. So this was like a universal...
and a stylus slot?
And a stylus slot, too. That's
pretty cool.
Look at that. There's GBA games in there. Ah, yes. From the good old Amiga days. This is the infamous Amiga 520. This came packed with a lot of Amiga 500s. On the back of the Amiga was a digital plug for a monitor. Well, not everybody who could afford an Amiga could afford a monitor, so they needed to be able to play it on their TV. And so this guy plugged into the video slot and provided you with standard audio and video out jacks that you could then take to your TV. Or, heaven forbid, you still had a TV that couldn't accept these slots. You could use an RF out, which would end up being in one of those little coaxial cables I showed you in one of my other videos. Neat little piece of history. I was fortunate I always had an Amiga monitor when I had an Amiga, but another piece of history to talk about. Very cool. I'm going to set this over here so I can dig to the bottom. What's this? Hey, it's another phone. This is exactly like the phone that we dug in the other box. The same exact phone. My daughters must have had this. Yeah, see? Here's the other phone from the other one. This is in a lot better shape. I mean, this one's got some terrible wear. That's cool. We got two of these guys. We already talked about this phone in another video, so I'm not going to go into detail there. But I can't believe I got a second one of those. I guess they must have been the girls' phones. They weren't smartphones. Here's some more of that paper. This is a pumpkin scooper. This is used to scoop the guts out of a pumpkin at Halloween. Some weird crap that's in here. A lot of junk. Here's something interesting. What is this? Is this from Elebits, maybe? This is swag from something. From a video game. I want to say it might be Elebits or some game similar to that. It's a neat little guy.
Tell us in the description or comments.
Yeah, I'll probably look it up, as I did on some of the other videos.
I did.
Junk. Oh, here we go. This is cute. It's kind of melty a little bit and a little bendy, but it's an Amiga bounce ball. That was the symbol pretty much for the Amiga computer. So this probably was supposed to go on to an Amiga type device. Little sticker, little friend thing sticker. Here's a ticket to something. Lots of dust in here, or lots of trash in here. Here's an Intellivision pin, the little famous stick figure running guy. That's cool. Here's some memory for a computer. This is 1 gigabyte of DD2 RAM, which is really interesting. You know, you think, why would you keep something this old? This will not go into any modern computer ever. This serves no purpose whatsoever other than to talk about it. But currently, there's a huge trend for people, much like myself, who are trying to relive their past, to build old computers to play old games, like that Eye of the Beholder 3 we were just looking at. This memory might be actually valuable to somebody. Do you need a DD2 DIMM-J type memory? Give me a call. Don't give me a call. Put it in the comments. This is in here. A lot of dirt and junk I'm kind of sifting through to get to what's left in here. Dump all this out. That's cool. Look at that. What's this? Here is another joystick. This is from Suncom. This is the TAC 50. So this was actually for older 8-bit computers. And it says right here, Genesis fire buttons. Okay, so this was reused. So this was probably a Commodore 64 controller or an Atari 8-bit controller. Has a couple of extra buttons on it though. But it's got these suction cups. So this was the bomb. So here's what you would do. You would stick it to your counter, put the suction cups in there. The suction cups are old, but they really get into your game this way, and the thing was supposed to be sticking to the counter, but unfortunately its suction cups are a little worn. But these control sticks could really take a beating. What's this? Consumer brand Garantio. That's in French, Spanish. Is there an English one in here too? Limited warranty. I knew we'd eventually get there. Notice the English was on the bottom. This is for the model AG30. Doesn't say what this is a warranty card for. Polaroid Electronics. Oh, jeez. More tickets. What's all these tickets from? I think these were from Monroe Palooza. We were giving away prizes, and so people could pull tickets and win raffles.
Cables.
Cable. Oh, this is interesting though. This looks like it plugged into a digital camera. It's a very unusual plug with an audio video out. So this probably plugged into one of my digital cameras that I owned over the years. Oh, no way. It Singed the Dragon from Dragon's Lair. This is a great piece of swag. I can't remember what it came from, but this is Singed. This is from Dragon's Lair. Licensed, the licensed product. Hopefully I'm right about that. That's what it looked like. And because the Wii makes such great guitars, there's a guitar pick in here. Another one of those cross promotion things. Now what's this? A bolt. Because no box would be complete without some random tool or item in here. Mario Kart 8 gift card. $5 gift card.
It says $1.
Is it $1? This is $5 gift card. Oh, $1 reservation. Okay, so that's what this was for. So before they had digital pre-orders, you would go into Target and give them $1, and they would give you this card. And this would be on launch day for Mario Kart 8. You'd be able to bring this in, and they would give you the game, right? So this was just a reservation card. And as a bonus, once you picked up your reservation, they would scan the back of it, and this would turn into a $5 gift card. So technically you made $4 if you bought Wii U's Mario Kart 8 from Target and you used this.
We never used it.
You never
Label
used it?
still.
I think I bought it, ended up buying it from GameStop or something. And the last thing I have in here is well, I've got this other little thing too, but last thing I have in here looks like is a deck of playing cards. But what makes this so great is it's got Nintendo on it. Now Nintendo has a rich history of making playing cards. This is a well-known fact to Nintendo aficionados. But this was also a Club Nintendo product. So this came as part of your reward points when you were part of Club Nintendo. And I've already opened this one, so it's no big deal. Let's see what Nintendo does with game cards. Oh, maybe I didn't do anything with these. This is really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and slide this off. I'm not too concerned about... maybe I should be. These look really cool. So here are the cards. These are...
Platinum.
These are playing cards. These are just a regular deck of cards. Look, there's a ace of hearts, ace of spades. But look at these cards; they're like transparent almost. These are really cool. These are
Put them back before you hurt them.
Yeah, I'm gonna put them back. That's a really neat thing. I don't think I've ever opened these. I just got them and stored them away. Nintendo Platinum playing cards from Club Nintendo. Anything interesting in here? This looks like a USB hub of some sort. Kind of interesting. You tuck this thing in here. It's all sticky and nasty. And then here's nice little Mario keychain. This is also from Mario Kart 8. They had a lot of swag around Mario Kart 8. That's crazy. And then, of course, some random screws and a CD lid. Well, that's it. We're done with this box. I hope you enjoyed looking through my trash and treasures dug out of my famous Shane Shed box. Remember, we're going to be doing more of these. If you haven't seen them all, go check them out. Remember to please like this video, subscribe, hit the little notification bell so you can get all of our videos the second they come out. This is Shane R. Monroe with Monroe World. Thanks for watching.